My friends, the riches you seek are already within your reach. Wealth does not begin in your wallet, it begins in your mind. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny, and if you wish to transform your financial life, you must first transform the way you think. Today, I share with you 13 principles that will rewire your brain for prosperity. For the remainder of your life, rewire your brain for wealth. The first step is to form a clear and burning desire for what you want. This isn't about vague wishes or casual hopes. It is about knowing exactly how much you want to earn and why you want it. When the picture in your mind is sharp, your subconscious begins to work toward it automatically for the remainder of your life. Without this clarity, your thoughts scatter in many directions, and opportunities pass unnoticed because you haven't trained yourself to recognize them. For the moment you decide on a precise goal, everything begins to align with that vision. Belief follows decision, and belief is the fuel that ignites action. If you think wealth is only for others, your mind will always find reasons why you can't succeed. But when you choose to believe it is possible for you, your brain shifts into a state of possibility rather than limitation. This belief attracts ideas, resources, and people who help you reach your target. Doubt creates hesitation, but faith creates momentum, and momentum is what carries you forward when obstacles appear. Your brain becomes whatever you feed it, so feed it images of prosperity daily. For the remainder of your life, close your eyes and picture yourself living in the abundance you seek. Imagine the freedom, the peace, and the joy of that reality. The subconscious does not argue with what you show it repeatedly. It begins to accept those images as normal and drives you to behave in ways that bring them to life. Over time, these mental rehearsals carve new pathways in your mind, replacing patterns of lack with patterns of growth. Rewiring also requires changing your words. What you say about money shapes what you believe about money. Speak as if abundance is coming your way, and watch how your actions rise to match your words. Remove phrases of scarcity from your vocabulary, because each time you say you can't afford something or that money is hard to get, you reinforce limits. Instead, affirm that opportunities exist, wealth is available, and you are capable of earning it. The brain listens closely to your voice. Train it to expect good things. Finally, surround yourself with people whose thoughts are big and whose actions inspire you. Your environment programs your mind, whether you realize it or not. If you spend time with those who complain about lack and criticize ambition, you will absorb their fears. But if you walk among those who strive for more, who believe in growth and act with purpose, their energy will awaken your own. A rewired brain thrives in the company of those who challenge and uplift it, and in that fertile ground, wealth begins to grow naturally. For the remainder of belief is the quiet force that transforms impossible dreams into inevitable outcomes. When you make the choice to believe in yourself, you awaken parts of your mind that have been dormant, waiting for permission to act. A person who doubts constantly hesitates, second guesses every step, and abandons the journey when the first challenge appears. But a person who believes develops a different posture toward life. One of openness and expectation, constantly scanning the horizon for ways forward instead of excuses to quit. This internal shift often precedes any external change for the remainder of your life, and it is the moment where wealth begins to take root. When you hold faith in your ability to create abundance, you begin noticing opportunities that others overlook. What once seemed random starts to feel connected, as though life is quietly arranging the pieces in your favor. Your brain, wired to prove your beliefs true, for the remainder of life becomes a powerful audience spotting chances to grow, learn, and earn. This isn't magic, it's focus. When you truly believe you can achieve more, for the remainder of your life, your mind works around the clock to justify the belief by seeking solutions. Belief also fuels resilience. When setbacks occur, and they always do, it is belief that convinces you to keep moving. Those who lack faith see a single obstacle as evidence that they were never meant to succeed. But those who believe view the same obstacle as a temporary test, something to overcome on the path to their greater vision. This mindset allows you to persist longer, work harder, and rise after every fall, which is why belief is so strongly tied to eventual success. Another powerful effect of belief is the way it influences others. For the remainder of life, if people are drawn to confidence, they follow leaders who exude certainty in their mission. When you believe deeply in your own goals, you transmit that energy to those around you. Partners clients, even strangers. This creates a ripple effect where doors open not just because of your effort, but because of the faith others place in you. Ultimately, belief is the foundation upon which every fortune is built. It is the quiet decision, renewed daily, for the remainder of to trust that your vision will come to life. Without it, even the best strategies fail because the mind sabotages itself. With it, even imperfect plans succeed because the mind refuses to quit. Rewire your brain to believe in abundance, and the path to wealth will reveal itself step by step as you move forward. For the remainder of your life, visualization is one of the most powerful tools you can use to shape your financial destiny. When you consistently imagine the life you want to create, your brain begins to accept it as possible and even normal. This mental rehearsal builds confidence and reduces fear. Your life, because in your mind you have already walked the path toward success. Seeing yourself living in abundance triggers motivation from within, for allowing you to act with purpose rather than hesitation. Over time, these repeated images start to carve new mental pathways of your life, replacing patterns of scarcity with a deep expectation of wealth. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. For the remainder of your life, this means every time you visualize yourself enjoying financial freedom, owning your dream home, traveling the world, or supporting your loved ones, your brain treats that image as reality. As a result, it begins searching for ways to align your actions with that vision. This is why visualization is more than daydreaming. It is programming your mind to notice and act on opportunities that bring you closer to your goals. For the remainder, visualization also strengthens your emotional connection to your ambitions. When you see and feel what success looks like, you ignite passion and desire, which are the real engines behind persistence. Money alone is not motivating, but the life you envision living with it. Security, contribution, freedom fuels the determination needed to stay the course when challenges arise. By emotionally rehearsing success, you prepare yourself to endure the temporary discomfort of growth. As you visualize, it's important to add as much detail as possible. Feel the emotions of gratitude, hear the sounds of celebration, notice the small elements of your imagined life. For of your life, the richer the picture in your mind, the stronger its impact on your behavior. Your thoughts will naturally start influencing your habits, decisions, and conversations, pulling you closer to the reality you're creating inside. Over time, this consistent practice transforms the way you see yourself. Instead of someone struggling to achieve, you begin to identify as someone destined to succeed. That shift in identity is what drives bold actions, attracts opportunities, and opens doors that once felt out of reach. For the remainder of life, by training mind to live in the future you desire, you make it only a matter of time before that future becomes your present reality. The language you use every day has a profound influence on the way your brain perceives wealth and opportunity. Each word you speak acts as an instruction to your subconscious mind, programming it either for abundance or limitation. When you constantly talk about what you lack or how difficult things are, you reinforce a mindset of scarcity. But when you choose to speak words of possibility and success, you give your mind new instructions that shift your focus toward growth. For the remainder of life, this simple change in language can transform the way you view challenges and open you up to solutions you previously overlooked. For the remainder of your life, affirming abundance through your words isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about training your mind to expect better outcomes. When you repeatedly say, "I always find opportunities," or "I am capable of creating wealth," your brain begins to search for evidence to support these statements. Over time, for the remainder of your life, these affirmations build a foundation of confidence that influences the way you make decisions. Your words become self-fulfilling prophecies. For the remainder of life, turning thoughts into actions, into results. Replacing negative phrases with positive ones takes awareness and discipline. You must catch yourself when you say things like, "I can't afford this," or "money is hard to come by," and consciously replace them with empowering alternatives such as, "I am finding ways to afford this," or "money flows to me through my efforts." Each correction is like rewiring a circuit in your brain. For the remainder of life, breaking old patterns and forming new pathways that align with prosperity. Over time, this habit of speaking abundance becomes second nature. For the remainder of life, you begin to notice how your conversations change, how your energy feels lighter, and how opportunities seem to appear more frequently. of your life. The shift in your language attracts like-minded people and resources because positivity draws others in. The more you speak of success, for the remainder of your life, the more others believe in your vision and support your journey. Ultimately, the words you speak set the tone for the reality you live. When you declare abundance, for the remainder of your life, you create a mental and emotional environment where wealth feels possible and natural. This mindset allows you to approach challenges with creativity instead of fear, remainder life, persistence instead of doubt. By mastering the language of prosperity, you begin to live in harmony with the future you are building for the remainder of your life, and wealth becomes not just an aspiration, but an inevitable result of your thinking. For the remainder of your life, the people you spend time with influence the way you think far more than you realize. Every conversation, every attitude, and every belief expressed around you seeps into your subconscious and begins shaping your own perspective. If you are constantly surrounded by individuals who complain, doubt, or limit themselves, those ideas slowly become normal to you. Without noticing, your goals shrink to fit the standards of the people closest to you. But when you surround yourself with those who aim higher, speak possibility, and refuse to settle, your own vision expands to match theirs. Being around people who think big forces you to grow. Their ambitions challenge your comfort zone and inspire you to see what you're truly capable of achieving. When someone else treats success as inevitable rather than impossible, you begin to question your own excuses. You find yourself raising your standards, adopting better habits, and pursuing goals that once felt out of reach. This is the natural result of being immersed in an environment where greatness is the expectation rather than the exception. Wealth-minded individuals do more than motivate, they create opportunities. Connections, ideas, and resources flow more easily among people who are striving towards similar goals. For the remainder of your life, conversations become about possibilities instead of problems, and solutions emerge from the collective energy of growth. In this kind of environment, for the remainder of your life, progress accelerates because you are no longer pushing forward alone. You are being pulled upward by the momentum of those around you. Choosing this kind of environment often requires difficult decisions. It may mean limiting time with people who hold you back, even if they are close to you. It may mean seeking out new mentors, joining new groups, or deliberately entering spaces where ambition is celebrated rather than criticized. This shift can feel uncomfortable at first, but over time it transforms the way you think and act. Your brain begins to adopt the patterns, expectations, and confidence of the people you admire. Ultimately, for the remainder of your life, surrounding yourself with wealth-minded individuals is about more than making money. It is about creating an atmosphere where success feels natural. When you are constantly reminded that growth is possible and abundance is available, your own belief strengthens. The vision you hold for your life becomes bigger for remainder of life, and your actions follow suit. In time, you discover that your environment has been quietly rewiring your brain, preparing you for the wealth you were destined to achieve. Failure is often seen as the end of the road, but in truth it is one of the most valuable teachers you will ever encounter. Every setback contains hidden lessons about what to adjust of your life, improve, or approach differently next time. Those who run from failure never uncover these lessons, but those who examine it closely emerge stronger and wiser of your life. The wealthiest and most successful individuals are not the ones who never stumble. They are the ones who use every stumble as fuel to move forward. For they understand that failure is feedback, not a verdict. When you begin to view failure in this way, fear loses its power over you. For the remainder of your life, instead of seeing mistakes as proof that you are incapable, you recognize them as a natural part of growth. This shift in perspective rewires your brain to approach challenges with curiosity instead of dread. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I learn?" This mental transformation allows you to recover faster and continue pushing toward your goals, while others remain paralyzed by self-doubt. Setbacks also build resilience, which is essential for lasting success. Every time you rise after a fall, your confidence grows. Not because everything went perfectly for the remainder of life, but because you prove to yourself that you can endure. This inner strength compounds over time, giving you the persistence needed to pursue bigger dreams. For wealth rarely comes quickly or easily, and the ability to persist through obstacles often determines who ultimately succeeds. Turning failures into fuel also sharpens your strategy. For the remainder of your life, each take teaches you something valuable about timing, resources, or execution that no book or lecture can provide. These insights help you refine your approach and avoid repeating the same errors. In many cases, the varied breakthrough you seek comes immediately after your biggest failure, provided you are willing to analyze what's wrong and make the necessary adjustments. Ultimately, setbacks are not meant to stop you, but to prepare you. They test your commitment for the remainder of your life, strengthen your character, and force you to become more creative. When you learn to welcome these moments as part of your journey, you strip them of their power to discourage you. For the remainder of your life, instead of being obstacles, they become stepping stones leading directly to the wealth and success you are building in your mind and manifesting in your life. For the life, your mind operates like a fertile field, growing whatever seeds you choose to plant in it. If you consistently feed it confusion or negativity, it will yield hesitation and fear. But when you fill it with the right knowledge, principles of money, habits of success, and strategies for growth, it begins to operate at a higher level. The more you learn, or the more your brain identifies patterns and opportunities that would otherwise go unnoticed. Education, when applied, becomes one of the most powerful tools for building wealth. For the remainder of life, studying money and success allows you to break free from harmful myths about wealth. Many people grow up believing that money is evil or that becoming rich is reserved for the lucky few. By learning from books, mentors, and proven examples, for the remainder of your life, you replace those limiting beliefs with facts about how wealth is created and sustained. This shift in understanding rewires your thinking from scarcity to abundance, opening the door to new possibilities. Knowledge also fuels confidence. When you understand financial principles, investments, and business strategies, you make decisions from a place of clarity rather than fear. You stop hesitating because you know why a choice makes sense and what risks are worth taking for the remainder of your life. This mental strength keeps you moving forward even when others around you freeze in uncertainty. Confidence born from understanding is one of the greatest advantages you can have in the pursuit of success. Constant learning keeps you adaptable in a changing world. Industries evolve, opportunities shift, and new tools emerge. Those who stop learning get left behind, while those who commit to growth remain ready to act. By making personal development a lifelong habit, you ensure that your brain stays sharp and prepared to recognize wealth, building opportunities as they arise. Ultimately, for the remainder of your life, studying success is not about collecting information, but about transforming how you think and act. The more principles you internalize, for the more naturally you apply them to everyday decisions. Over time, this creates a compounding effect. Small, the remainder of informed choices build upon one another until they produce extraordinary results. By feeding your mind with the right knowledge, for the remainder of life, you give yourself the advantage most people never take the time to develop. The way you direct your focus determines the quality of solutions you create. When you fixate on problems, you magnify them, allowing fear and frustration to grow stronger. This mental pattern paralyzes progress because your energy is consumed by what is wrong rather than what can be done. By shifting your focus towards solutions, you train your brain to search for possibilities instead of limitations. This subtle change turns every obstacle into an opportunity to learn, adapt, and move closer to your goal. Naturally flows to those who solve problems because value is created through solutions. Every product, service, for the remainder of your life, or innovation that generates income does so by addressing a specific need. When you train your mind to ask, for the remainder of your life, can I fix this? Or how can I make this better? You begin to see opportunities where others see only difficulties. This problem-solving mindset is what separates those who struggle from those who thrive in any economy. Asking better questions is the key to developing this focus. Instead of saying, "Oh, why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What can I do about it?" Or, "What is the next best step?" These questions rewire your thought process to search for actionable answers. Over time, this habit builds creativity and resourcefulness, two qualities that are essential for financial success. The more solutions you create, the more valuable you become to others, and value always attracts compensation. Focusing on solutions also strengthens your resilience. Life will always present challenges for the remainder of your life, but when you condition yourself to respond with curiosity instead of panic, obstacles lose their power to derail you. For the remainder of life, this resilience keeps you moving forward when others give up. It also allows you to stay calm under pressure, which is crucial for making smart financial decisions during difficult times. Ultimately, training your mind to focus on solutions transforms how you see the world. For the remainder of your life, every setback becomes a puzzle to solve rather than a wall to fear. This mental habit doesn't just help you build wealth. It helps you navigate life with greater clarity and confidence. Over time, the solutions you create compound into opportunities for the remainder of your life, and those opportunities build the financial freedom you once only imagined. Gratitude is one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your thinking because it changes the way you view both yourself and the world around you. When you focus on what you already have rather than what you lack, your mind moves from a state of scarcity to one of abundance. This shift opens you up to notice opportunities that were previously hidden by dissatisfaction. Instead of constantly feeling behind, you begin to feel equipped and capable, which fuels confidence and motivation to pursue greater goals. Appreciating what you already possess also creates a sense of peace that money alone cannot buy. When you are grateful for even the smallest blessings, a supportive friend, the skills you've developed, the roof over your head, you stop living in constant chase of more and start building from a foundation of contentment. Ironically, it is often from this calm and appreciative state that you become most open to receiving even more wealth because you are no longer blinded by desperation or fear. Gratitude also rewires your brain to seek the positive in every circumstance. When challenges arise, you are better able to identify what is still good and what lessons can be taken from the situation. This mindset prevents setbacks from feeling like endings and allows you to recover faster. A grateful person doesn't ignore difficulties, but they refuse to let those difficulties define their entire perspective. The habit of gratitude influences how you interact with others as well. People are drawn to those who express appreciation, and opportunities often come through relationships. When you genuinely value those who help you, acknowledge their efforts, and express thanks, you build stronger connections. These relationships become part of your network of support, opening doors to ideas, resources, and collaborations that can accelerate your financial growth. Ultimately, gratitude creates an upward cycle in your life. The more thankful you are, the more abundance you notice, and the more abundance you attract. It teaches you that wealth is not only about accumulating money, but also about recognizing the richness already present in your life. From this mindset, every gain feels like a bonus rather than a necessity, and this emotional stability allows you to pursue your financial goals with joy rather than anxiety. The beliefs you hold about money often form silently during childhood, influenced by what you heard from family, society, or culture. Phrases like, "Money is the root of all evil," or "Rich people are greedy," become ingrained in your subconscious, shaping how you view wealth and success. Without realizing it, you may sabotage opportunities because deep down you associate abundance with guilt or selfishness. To rewire your brain for wealth, you must first uncover these hidden messages and question whether they are actually true. When you examine these beliefs honestly, you begin to see how they have limited your actions. If you secretly believe that becoming wealthy will make others resent you, you might avoid pursuing higher goals. If you think abundance is reserved for the lucky few, you won't bother striving for it yourself. These thoughts operate quietly in the background, influencing decisions without you even noticing. Bringing them to light is the first step to replacing them with empowering truths. One of the most liberating realizations is that money itself is neutral. It is neither good nor bad. It is simply a tool that reflects the character of the person using it. In the hands of someone generous, money feeds families, builds communities, and creates opportunities. When you accept this truth, you stop feeling guilty about wanting more and start viewing wealth as a means to do more good. This shift in perspective frees you to pursue abundance with integrity. Replacing limiting beliefs requires consistent affirmation of new ones. Tell yourself daily that wealth is freedom, that financial success allows you to live fully and contribute meaningfully. Visualize how abundance would allow you to take care of your loved ones, support causes you care about, and live without constant worry. Over time, your brain begins to accept these empowering truths and acts in alignment with them. Breaking free from these mental barriers transforms your entire approach to life. You stop holding yourself back and start exploring possibilities you once dismissed. Instead of shrinking your dreams to fit your old beliefs, you expand your beliefs to match the life you desire. This mental rewiring doesn't just prepare you to earn more money, it prepares you to handle that money with wisdom, gratitude, and purpose. Persistence is the force that carries you through when motivation fades and results take longer than expected. In the pursuit of wealth, it is easy to become discouraged when progress feels slow or obstacles seem endless. Most people give up right at the edge of their breakthrough, not realizing how close they were to success. Rewiring your brain requires repetition, the daily choice to keep going even when it feels pointless. Every time you refuse to quit, you strengthen mental pathways that make resilience your default response rather than surrender. The act of persisting rewires your perception of challenges. Instead of viewing difficulties as signals to stop, you begin to see them as part of the journey. Each obstacle faced and overcome builds your confidence, proving that you can endure far more than you imagined. This inner proof becomes fuel for future challenges, allowing you to approach them with calm determination rather than panic. Over time, persistence transforms fear into familiarity. What once intimidated you becomes routine. Persistence also compounds results. Small actions repeated consistently create momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. A single day of effort may seem insignificant, but weeks and months of unrelenting progress transform your skills, resources, and opportunities. Wealth is rarely built in dramatic leaps. It is built in quiet, persistent steps that compound over time into extraordinary outcomes. This compounding effect only rewards those who stay the course. Another hidden benefit of persistence is how it influences those around you. People are inspired by commitment. When others see you refuse to quit despite challenges, they begin to trust your vision and invest in your journey, whether through encouragement, resources, or opportunities. Your consistency becomes magnetic, attracting allies and mentors who help accelerate your progress. Ultimately, persistence is less about grinding endlessly and more about refusing to abandon your vision. It is the quiet decision, renewed daily, that no matter how long it takes, you will continue until you arrive. This mental rewiring makes you unstoppable because the mind that never gives up cannot be defeated. It can only be delayed. In time, this unwavering resolve turns even the most distant dreams into inevitable realities. Thinking alone will not bring riches because thoughts without movement remain unrealized potential. A rewired brain must eventually translate belief and vision into daily action. For this means taking steps, however small, that move you closer to your financial goals. Planning, learning, and imagining are valuable for the remainder of your life, but none of them create change. You pair them with execution. Each small action, repeated over time, builds habits that reprogram your subconscious to expect progress instead of waiting for luck. Consistency is what separates dreamers from achievers. A single burst of effort might create temporary excitement, but lasting success is born from steady, repetitive action. When you commit to taking steps every day, making a call, learning a skill, saving a small amount, you create momentum that compounds over time. What feels insignificant at first grows into results you could never achieve through occasional, scattered effort. This steady forward motion keeps your vision alive, even during seasons when motivation is low. Action also generates clarity. For the real life, many people wait for perfect conditions before starting, but clarity comes from movement, not from standing still. When you take action, you receive feedback. What works for the remainder of life and what to adjust next? This feedback loop accelerates your growth and helps you find better strategies than endless planning ever could. By acting for the remainder of your life, you give yourself the chance to improve and adapt in real time, which is essential for building wealth. For the remainder of your life, another benefit of consistent action is that it strengthens your belief in yourself. Each step taken reinforces the idea that you are capable of creating the life you envision. This builds confidence, which fuels even bolder actions. Over time, your brain begins to associate effort with reward, and work that once felt heavy becomes automatic. For the remainder of your life, you stop questioning whether success is possible and start trusting that it is inevitable if you simply keep going. Ultimately, for wealth is not the result of one grand decision, but of countless small actions stacked over time. The rewired mind understands this and commits to showing up daily for the remainder of life, regardless of how it feels. By focusing on what you can do today, rather than waiting for the perfect moment, for the remainder of your life, you turn your vision of abundance into a reality that grows stronger with every step forward. For the remainder of your life, true wealth begins not with what you keep for yourself, but what you contribute to others. When you shift your focus from solely personal gain to the value you can create for people around you, your mind begins to operate on a higher level. For the remainder of your life, this change in perspective opens doors that pure self-interest can never unlock. Opportunities arise because people are naturally drawn to those who solve problems and make their lives better. In serving others, you build relationships, trust, and influence, all of which eventually translate into financial abundance. Helping others also rewires your sense of purpose. Instead of chasing money for its own sake, you begin to see wealth as a byproduct of impact. The more people you help, the larger your reach and the greater your potential to earn. This shift makes your work meaningful, which fuels persistence during difficult times. When your mission is tied to improving lives, giving up is no longer an option because it's no longer just about you, it's about the lives depending on your contribution. Generosity also creates a cycle of reciprocity. When you add value without immediate expectation of return, people remember it and often look for ways to support you in return. This may come in the form of referrals, opportunities, or partnerships you could never have predicted. Your reputation for helping others becomes one of your greatest assets, silently attracting wealth and resources into your life. Serving others has another hidden benefiting. It forces you to grow. To meet the needs of people at a higher level, you must constantly improve your own skills, knowledge, and character. This personal growth positions you to handle greater responsibilities and rewards. As you develop yourself to better serve, your capacity to earn and manage wealth naturally expands. For remainder life, rewiring your brain for wealth is a lifelong practice, not a single moment of inspiration. Each day, your thoughts, words, and actions either bring you closer to abundance or pull you away from it. By consistently choosing thoughts of service, gratitude, and possibility, you train your life. You train your mind to create a future far greater than your present. Begin living today as though you are already the person capable of that wealth for the remainder of your life, and soon you will find yourself stepping into the reality you have been building in your mind.